Treetop, we always give you 100%.
There's a special feature coming your way from Domino's Pizza that'll ruin the Noid's day. Special savings on the silver screen. Maybe the biggest offer you've ever seen.
Catch this. Call Domino's Pizza and get an official Noid flyer for just 25 cents with the order of any piping hot pizza. But hurry, these Noid flyers are taking off fast. Call Domino's Pizza today.
Hurry, because this won't last forever. For savings like these, it may be now or never. Domino's Pizza delivers savings.
It's time to grab your cash, folks, because time is running out right now at Best Buy Superstores. Absolutely everything in stock is on sale, but you gotta hurry because the sale ends Saturday. Break open the piggy bank. This is the sale you've been waiting for. Every home stereo, car stereo, portable stereo, TV, VCR, telephone, camera, compact disc, microwave, and major appliances on sale. At these prices, stuff's been flying out the door. But don't worry, we've shipped in truckloads of additional merchandise to keep everybody happy. You gotta hurry because Saturday night at 9, it's finished, kaput, dunzo. So shop early, shop often, shop Best Buy. Why? Because everything's on sale.
The drama comes to an end as nightfall approaches a Chicago suburb. An ambulance slowly leaves the scene. Inside, the body of a woman accused in today's shooting spree at a grade school.
WCCO Television presents Pat Miles, Don Shelby, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. A day of terror in a Chicago suburb this evening ended when a SWAT team stormed in and found the suspect had apparently killed herself.
The suspect, 30-year-old Lori Dan, the woman police say opened fire in an elementary school, killing an 8-year-old boy and critically wounding 5 others. This is how police pieced together the story, the tragic events. Dawn was the babysitter at this house located in the Chicago suburb of Winnetka, Illinois. She apparently argued with the family living there, then set the house on fire. Then police say she headed to the school, also located in that same affluent community.
The information that I have is that someone walked into the school and opened fire on these children.
The gunfire killed one child instantly, and this became the scene which greeted parents who had come up to see what had happened. The 4 injured were taken to the nearest hospital for some serious attention.
First of all, they're all alive, they're stable, but their condition has to be critical. It has to be categorized as critical.
Police were in pursuit of the suspect who had broken into a nearby house.
She just came in the kitchen. You know, I thought it was a joke.
But it was serious. The suspect shot the woman's son and holed herself up in their house. And back at school, more parents arriving to pick up their children in the midst of this tragic and confusing day.
People who survived the shooting spree say it lasted 15 minutes.
When it ended, counselors were rushed in to help both the children and their parents deal with what had happened. Colleen Needles now has more on what experts say about healing the emotional scars of such a violent episode.
Colleen.
Pat and Don, of course, the biggest impact will be felt in Winnetka among the children at that elementary school and their parents. Counselors have already begun their work.
Well, you know, we don't have any instant magic about how to get through this kind of pain. What we are telling people is that it's very important to talk.
Experts say we should all listen up because we didn't have to be in that classroom to experience its horror. Newspapers and television bring it all too close to home.
What happened?
It's not uncommon where children develop school avoidant or school phobic types of behaviors because of just this type of event.
Whether it's a schoolroom shooting, the Challenger disaster, or the McDonald massacre near San Diego, the advice is the same. Parents, talk and listen to your children. Let them know it's okay to be frightened, but explain how infrequent events like this are. Experts say if adults are unable to cope, then the children are at an even greater risk.
I think that's one of the major worries that we have when these tragedies occur, that the children turn to the adults to learn how to cope with and handle these tragedies. And I think as adults, we might be, if anything, at times like this, even worse role models.
Dr. Garfinkel's advice to parents who feel too overwhelmed: talk to other parents, see how they are coping, talk to a minister, a rabbi, and if that doesn't help, seek professional help. One last note, I asked Dr. Garfinkel if he thought the media should even cover events like this.
That's a tough question. I think that we have to be honest and we have to be open, especially with the children. And the children know what happened. So I think it's important to discuss these events in an open and frank manner.
Dr. Garfinkel says we would do well not to characterize people who go on shooting rampages as ordinary, peace-loving people who just lost it, but rather as people who are disturbed. That way, we are all less likely to feel like this could happen to us.
Perhaps some damage was already done. I think on the national news, Lori Dan was called an ordinary person, just a normal human being, when in fact the truth was that is not the case.
Exactly. In fact, I think that was said twice on the national news, and what the doctor said is that obviously there was something wrong with her. She was very disturbed, and we should characterize her like that.
Yes, and if there's any children watching tonight, it should be very, should make it very clear this kind of thing does not happen very often.
No, it does not.
And it should be made clear to them. Thank you very much, Colleen.
The suspect, Lori Dan, spent time in Madison, Wisconsin, and attended the university. Fellow students describe her as, quote, very bizarre. In March, she was arrested for shoplifting. The FBI was apparently trying to locate Dan. In the past days, she is said to have made death threats against her former husband.
One Minneapolis police officer fired today for drug use and another charged with possession of cocaine. Mike Moe, a member of that high-risk unit responsible for raiding crack houses, was charged after investigators found drugs in his wallet. 12-year-old veteran Bruce Thornburg was fired after a search of his Apple Valley home last night. But officials say the recommendation for dismissal came before that raid when Thornburg failed a spot drug test. Both men were among 140 officers who received commendations on Monday night.
The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has been receiving reports that cougars or mountain lions have been sighted near Rice Lake, Wisconsin. In fact, a DNR field person says he saw one himself. One resident grabbed his home video camera and took these pictures of what he says is one of the cats. Officials say the animals have not threatened people or cattle in the area. For that reason, they believe the cats may have been domesticated. But the DNR has no idea where they come from, and of course the warning that if you see them, leave them alone.
Now here's a look at some of today's news in brief. A 30-year prison sentence of St. Paul native Clayton Lone Tree was reduced by 5 years today. The commander of Quantico Marine Base in Virginia also lifted the $5,000 fine imposed in the Sex for Secret scandal. The commander cited Lone Tree's total cooperation since the trial. Panamanian strongman Noriega appears pleased with the results of negotiations designed to ease him out of power. One U.S. official says a deal has been struck in which Noriega would leave the country by August in return for freedom from prosecution on drug charges. DeFrock televangelist Jimmy Swaggart says he'll return to the pulpit on Sunday in defiance of an Assembly of God suspension. The embattled minister says he must collect $6 million in donations to keep his ministry alive.
The number of Minnesotans without a job dropped 1 full percentage point last month. In April, the jobless rate was down to 3.4%. It is the third straight month of declining unemployment in Minnesota. Consumer prices rose in April 0.4%. Clothing, gasoline, and groceries all showed sharp increases. Food prices climbed at their fastest pace in 20 months in comparison with prices 5 years ago. Hamburger, for example, up 3%, bananas up 20%, lettuce 85%. Eggs actually dropped in price since 1983, down nearly 4%. Economists say don't be alarmed, the increase could be a fluke, but if the rise continues over the next few months, economists say the inflated prices could be here to stay.
President Reagan laughed off his troubles last night at the annual White House News Photographers Dinner. The chief executive billed his slideshow as the ultimate insider's account of the Reagan administration.
In this photo, I'm saying this is the way it works, Mikhail. If Domino's doesn't get the pizza here in 35 seconds, we get it free.
It was, of course, all in fun, even when a slide of the First Lady and Kiss and Tell author Don Regan popped up.
Oops.
Because the dinner marked the president's last appearance before the photographers, he offered a final salute as shutters clicked.
Right now is the best time ever to buy a new Subaru. Thanks to cash incentives of up to $2,000, you can get one of the best deals ever on one of the best cars ever, a Subaru. We've got great deals on every Subaru in stock, but don't take forever to get up to $2,000 back at your Subaru dealer. Hurry in now, because these all-time great $2,000 deals won't last forever. Okay? Okay. Subaru. We build our reputation by building a better car. Get a great deal in your Twin City area Subaru dealer today.
See you're hauling redwood logs.
Yeah, you?
Dynamite. Hey, neighbor, what you hauling?
Petunias, geraniums, gardenias. It's for Flower Week at Kmart. Plants, shrubs.
Hey, this is Mandevilla.
And a variegated lirio. Almost everything that grows is on sale now during Flower Week at Kmart.
You wouldn't have an azalea in there, would you?
May I say you have excellent taste.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
What harm can a little water do? The damaging effects of water and time have always been wood's enemy. Introducing new Rust-Oleum Wood Saver Paint, a special wood formula with Teflon for twice the moisture protection of ordinary paint. So if it's going to get wet, get Rust-Oleum.
I take photography very seriously. As you can see, professionally speaking, National Camera Exchange has it all. From this Nikon N4004 with advanced autofocus to Kodak color print film, or get this compact, lightweight Vivitar zoom lens. Real quality. Professionally speaking, National Camera can help you handle any photo assignment. Smile, kids! Professionally speaking. National Camera Exchange.
Tonight in Dimension, before they even get their high school diploma, some students are taking college classes. We wrap up Teach Your Children.
But first tonight, what did that big, well-publicized crack bust do for a place that residents openly called Crack Street?
It's been 17 days since 102 Minneapolis police officers swooped down on a single city block, shutting it down while raiding 8 suspected crack houses. The massive raid focused attention on 4th Avenue South between 31st and 32nd Streets. 7 people arrested, guns, drugs, and money seized. But have things changed? Mike Walsher went back this week to find out.
Crack Street by night.
You know there's still some on the street doing it. I'm quite sure you know that. But it's gonna slow down, and that I'm glad of.
And Crack Street by day.
It really made a difference, man, because the kids be out on the street playing more. You know, they mothers and fathers sit out with them now. That's something they used to didn't do.
Folks on this block say some dealers may sell crack from the back of abandoned homes on the block, but that's about it.
To be truthful, man, it's dead around here, you know. It's real dead. It is a lot quieter, though.
Walter Singh takes pride in this neighborhood and keeps a close watch on the streets.
It still goes on, but not as much as before, but it still goes on. It still goes on a little bit.
Tom Hendrickson took part in the raid. He and partner Scott Grabowski cruise Crack Street often, looking for dealers.
It is possible that there are some of them have gone back, but it's nowhere near what it was.
This week, police on 4th Avenue nabbed 2 men for allegedly dealing crack from a motor scooter. Police say it's part of a trend. Dealers are mobile now, using cars or even a scooter as their base of operations. If nothing else, the raid has given the non-dealers and non-users of Crack Street the chance to reclaim their block. But no one is bold enough to say that the crack trade has done anything but move somewhere else.
They clean out one block, they're gonna move to another block. And then you clean out that block, they're gonna go to another block. It's gonna be hard to stop it.
The drug war then moves to a new battlefield 2 weeks after Crack Street was busted.
As a police officer, I feel really good about it, but it's only a start. We don't seem to have enough time and enough people to make the full eradication, but it's a good start.
Many on Crack Street agree. I'm Mike Walsher, WCCO Television News, South Minneapolis.
And Officer Hendrickson estimates there are 65 to 85 crack houses operating in the 3rd Police Precinct, which covers only a part of South Minneapolis.
Tonight is the final installment of Teach Your Children, which has taken us from elementary school to, of course, high school. And tonight mixes in just a little bit of college. And here's why. Between 3,000 and 4,000 high school students in Minnesota each year are enrolled in college credit courses. That's while they're still in high school. The Minnesota Federation of Teachers has sued, though, to stop the program, worried about saving teachers' jobs. Others question things like independent study courses that students take home. Alan Cox looks at one student and who is combining high school and college, its difficulties, its rewards.
7 o'clock Wednesday morning.
Evie Ibarra starts her school day 40 minutes before most everyone else. Before the first class bell, she and another student serve on a committee advising the school board.
The student can find out where he's strong, and then the classes that he isn't strong in, they can have evaluations for those classes.
Evie leaves the meeting as most of her classmates first arrive at school. At 7:40, teaching begins with calculus.
So we get u to the -1 all over -1 plus c, and we're finished.
By mid-morning, Evie will have attended French and band class, study hall, and lunch, familiar entries on the class schedule for high school students. But for some students and their parents, the familiar isn't enough. 13 of the 103 seniors at St. Anthony are taking part of their classes elsewhere, squeezing together high school and college, a time that some adults look back on as the best years of their lives.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of the students don't take advantage of it. Even though that they would have the ability and the time to do it, they just choose to stay full-time in the high school.
Upside down. Now,
Physics class starts just before noon, but Evie will leave before class is done. Students forsaking high school classes for college cost their school district state aid, $13,000 out of St. Anthony last year. More participation could endanger teaching jobs. For students who participate, logistics can be a problem. At 12:30, Evie drives home to meet her mother. She takes a lunch break from work to drive her daughter to campus. While many of Evie's classmates in St. Anthony are beginning to wind down their day, she starts Humanities 1001, a freshman course on political thought. 1,000 high schoolers are studying at the U this year.
Testing the water is I think, the usual motivation for our high school students. They want to come and see what the university is like, what college is like, what's expected of a college student.
One high schooler did so well, his instructor asked him to serve as a teaching assistant the next quarter. Contrary to expectations, high school juniors tend to perform better than seniors, especially the boys prone to senioritis. Evie spends little time on campus after class, usually waiting for a bus.
Just the fact that it's 120 people compared to the 20 people in my class at high school. But otherwise, the studying and the class load is not that hard. I don't find it hard at all because it's only a freshman class.
It's now mid-afternoon, becoming late afternoon. We're worn out from following Evie around for part of her day. She's still going. She's on the track team, a long-distance runner. She runs 3 miles.
I'm pretty tired at the end of the day, but I suppose, you know, I like to keep busy. I don't like, I mean, if I wasn't taking my class, I wouldn't have anything in my afternoon.
It's a long run for schools, too. The smaller ones face competition from college classes and from the open enrollment law that makes it easier to transfer between high schools. Many small schools will have to consolidate, a process sometimes painful for their communities. But competition is a part of the future that communities and their young people won't be able to escape. With Pete Newswanger and Bob Mannery, Alan Cox, WCCO Television News.
Also, the final night for our look into test questions, and these questions happen to be for students who want to get to college English credit while still in high school. Here's teacher Maureen Mashek from South in Minneapolis.
The first question: which of the following literary techniques was not initiated in the 20th century? A, the interior monologue, B, chronological looping, or C, abruptly shifting points of view? Second question: Ibsen's A Doll's House, Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and Chekhov's A Cherry Orchard all demonstrate a common theme in their social setting. A, a family in conflict, B, customs of courtship and marriage, or C, a society in transition? The third question: James Joyce, Charles Dickens, and Ralph Ellison are noted for novels showing A, the maturation of young men, B, poverty in urban society, or C, death as a release?
We're going to give you the answers later on tonight if you don't already have them right at the tip of your tongue.
Luxury in the fast lane. Your Jeep Eagle dealers bring you Eagle Premier with one of the most powerful engines in its class, an optional multi-port fuel-injected overhead cam V6 with a drag coefficient lower than any sedan built in North America. And right now, with special financing to keep payments this low, or take advantage of this special bonus. Eagle Premier, world-class technology that's easy to get into.
See your Great Northern Jeep Eagle dealers.
where you can expect the best.
And I love